Good morning to those of you who are watching online. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and my topic is Love is the Answer. There was a little fish that heard from his playmates that without water, he would die. He swam to his mother, all excited. Mommy, Mommy, without water, we will die. His mother looked at her son and she said, son, water is what we're swimming in. Sometimes we are like that little fish, running around frantically seeking love, when love is what we are. We are swimming in a sea of love. Made of the image of love, you are love. Pure God essence and expression. That's your essential nature. How often we forget. Ernest Holmes tells us in Creative Living, love will find the solution to every problem, will answer every question. It is the lodestone of life, the center of reality, the heart of the universe, and it will ultimately win and vanquish every foe. So if love is the answer to every problem and need, why then are so many people, so many of us frantically seeking it? So often we go about seeking others to love or to complete us. The truth of the matter is, love is your essential nature. Love is who you are. Made in the image and likeness, you are pure God in expression. You don't need anybody to complete you or make you happy. Then what are these feelings of loneliness, sadness, and alienation we sometimes feel? Feelings of fear and separation. When we lose our connection to spirit, we feel alienated or alone. Things just don't work right. Alan Cohen, author, tells a story about a pair of peacocks which showed up at the back door of his country home. The two were gorgeous to behold, inseparable, and always together. One afternoon, Alan walked out on his patio and startled Juliet. She flew to the rear of the house and suddenly began honking. Soon, Romeo also began to honk. The two tried to locate each other by calling to each other repeatedly. The honking went on for about 20 minutes until Juliet found her way to the back of the house and they had a glorious reunion. Cohen wrote this: those two birds taught us a supreme lesson about love. Their natural state, I realized, was togetherness. When they got separated, they were out of their natural state and the honking began. They were calling to their beloved. Those peacocks knew when they were separated from their beloved, and often we do not. Sometimes we feel separated from love, and we ache, and we're in pain, and we began to honk. The honking takes all kinds of form: anger, frustration, illness, depression, loneliness, resentment, or even alienation. That's because we forget who we are and whose we are. We get confused. We think love is a verb, something that we do, something that we get. Love is energy, pure God energy, waiting to express through us. We are the ones who have separated ourselves from love. Love is ever present in the universe. It's ever present in our lives. All we have to do is connect with it. We just have to realize it. So what is the answer? How do we reconnect to our essential nature? That is love. Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Return to Love, says, love takes more than crystals and rainbows. It takes discipline and practice. It's not just a sweet sentiment from a Hallmark card. It's a radical commitment to a different way of being, a mental response to life that is completely at odds with the rest of the world. Love is God energy waiting to express through us, through you and you and you. Where and how do we start? We begin by connecting to spirit. But we first must recognize the love within us. I, Matti Dobbs, am pure God essence in expressing. All I have to do is relax, let go, and allow spirit to express through me. So it is with you. But there was a time in my life when I looked to friends and relatives to complete me or solve the sadness and loneliness that I was feeling. My husband, whom I love dearly, made his transition, and I felt very lonely. I made a decision to put love in my life every day and every way. I asked Spirit to walk with me and to be my guide. And to this day, it leads the way. Spirit is the source of all good expressing in my life, and I never cease to forget. I found my way to the Capistrano Valley Church of Religious Science, took classes, learned to meditate, and pray affirmatively. I used to sit looking at the beach and repeat over and over, I am healthy, whole, and complete. God is the source of my supply. Soon those affirmations took root in my consciousness. The feelings of separation began to subside, and I was on my way. I soon began to notice that others were walking the beach with me. I was not alone. I smiled at them, and they smiled back at me. We all have needs, and one of them is to feel love. The good news, we don't have to create the love. It's there for us. We simply have to connect with it to become a conduit of God, to allow love to pass through us. Love is what the sea is to a fish. It is something we swim in all our lives. We simply have to recognize it. We can decide this day to give away and express love in our lives. Every day and every way. Love is a decision. And today, I am suggesting and asking you, make the decision. Make the decision to let your love light shine. Look within the storehouse of love within you and allow it to shine through. Learn to sit in the silence and meditate on love until you begin to feel love. Let's try that right now. Take some deep healing breaths. And if you choose, close your eyes and allow love to flow through you. Allow love to flow over you. Once you've grounded yourself in the consciousness of love, begin to spread that love to others in this room. Feel and see that love spreading to your loved ones. Love yourself. Begin by loving and appreciating yourself. Give yourself the tender, loving care that you want someone else to give you. See yourself as perfect, whole, and complete. You may come back into the room, but continue to see and feel yourself as God in expression. You see, when you look to others to make up for what you feel is missing in your life, you place yourself at the mercy of others. You become a victim and allow others to fix what you haven't fixed in yourself. Let's begin today to start that fixing right here at home. Give yourself what you want others to give you. And then do, as Marianne Williamson says, practice, practice, practice. I practice every day. As many of you know, I'm a walker. But when I'm out walking, I'm not only about my business, I'm about God's business. I'm about nurturing myself and knowing that I am healthy, whole, and complete, and that I'm walking and talking with spirit every day and every day. The most important practice is your spiritual practice. You don't have to raise your hands, but think to yourself, how many of you in here have a spiritual practice? When you take time in the silence to acknowledge your connection to Source, to acknowledge your well-being, and just wallow in it for a while. Get in touch with your own divinity and your own wholeness. You are healthy, whole, and complete. Did you know that? Do you practice that? Do you work at it? Resolve today to begin the practice of being love. You can look in the mirror and give yourself positive feedback. Look past the wrinkles, the sagging chin, or the age spots, or whatever you make up to see, and say, I love you. You're beautiful. You can also put positive messages on your mirror. Have you thought about that? During a difficult period in my life, I received a sweepstake ad in the mail that had a couple of Caucasian, hairy male hands holding a silver cup that said, I, Matti Dobbs, am a winner. I posted that ad right in the center of my mirror. So when I got up in the morning, went into the restroom, looked into the mirror, I saw that validation. Even though the hands were male and full of hair, I, Matti Dobbs, am a winner, is what I saw. And then I went off to meet the world. to see my students at the university, to greet with whatever I found. I already knew the truth before I started my journey. Each day, that affirmation helped me gain the courage and fortitude to get through what was a dark period. I made a choice to make each day a positive day grounded in love energy. You can use that process to embed in your consciousness that you are love. You are a winner. Treat yourself with tender, loving care. Talk kindly to yourself as you learn to love and appreciate yourself. You become free to love and appreciate others. Love activates the law of circulation. Sharing and giving love activates a chain reaction. We're all one. We're all interconnected. And quantum physics tells us that when we interact with another entity, we change the nature of that entity as a result of our interaction. Through our thoughts, we can create, nurture, and sustain love. Our thoughts impact the quality of the love we're able to give and receive, thus impact the quality of our relationships. Do you ever wonder why some people are more popular than others? Do you ever understand why so many people are attracted to some people in your crowd? It's the love energy that's coming through. You can change relationships negatively or positively by your thoughts, whether you openly express them or not. Judgmental or critical thoughts will get you a relationship characterized by judgment and resentment. So pay attention to what you're thinking. I don't like her. He's gotten to be too bossy. So monitor your thoughts. Pay attention to what you think about, particularly what you think about loved ones and your relationship. Watch what you say to yourself. I'm falling out of love with him. I don't love her anymore. Practice sending out positive thoughts. Let go of judgment. See them instead as divine energy, divine love. Just as you are divine energy and divine love, so are they. So are we. Be the love you want to see in the world. I went to work in an all-male environment where, in the 20-year history of the department, they had no African Americans, and one woman who had retired earlier than I showed up. I soon noticed that my colleagues benignly excluded me. It was nothing overt, but it was clear. They were polite when spoken to, offered no collegiality, and no assistance, not even with a hearty good morning. Fortunately, I had been raised by a mother who taught me that I was special, and I had a track record of accomplishments. to prove it before I rolled up in there. I had no fear. I was very comfortable with whom I was and what I had to offer. I decided to let all of my efficacy shine and to give them a great big smile. While they were busy shutting me out, perhaps so they thought, I went about making a record for myself in the department. And as a matter of fact, one day I saw the head of the department walking from his car to the offices. I caught up with him and began to talk. What was needed in the department? What if we became the center? Equity was the new thing on the clock, new thing in organization. I said, what if we became the leader, the spokesperson, and taught these other businesses all around us about equity, how to practice it, and how it worked? He said to me, that sounds interesting, Matti. I will talk with the dean and get back to you. And he came back, he said, the dean's plan is to move out more into the community. She's very interested. Will you lead the project? Yes, I will. And we did not become known for our equity expertise in the community. However, we put on an equity conference and then decided to do that collectively with the city. And on that day, and we agreed to buy the refreshments. It was done in a big fancy hotel downtown. The department heads were there, and all the department heads, well, perhaps not all, but many of the department heads were there from our university, and my manager suggested that as leader of the project, I get the speakers and I MC that product. So there, the little girl or the young lady of no stature suddenly was in charge of this whole event. What did I do? I began to demonstrate my efficacy to continue to show love to each one of them and be about the business of doing God's work and allowing Spirit to lead me. So on that evening, there were hundreds of people in the audience. The person in the department of no stature, the youngest one, held the podium, introduced the speakers. I soon began to make a record for myself in the department. This lady is no joke. You're not a joke. You're all about expressing Spirit. We create energy fields around us by our thoughts. You can change the energy around you through your own behavior without saying a word. What you're thinking about shows up in your life. So let go of negative feelings. Let go of struggle. Let go of fear. There are two basic emotions that impact relationships: love and fear. You have a choice. You can choose to see angry and defensive treatment as the behavior of someone in fear rather than one who is intentionally trying to hurt you. There was fear in that department. We can conjecture what that fear was about. She doesn't look like us, so she doesn't know what she's doing. All kinds of things may go through their minds. But you change your thinking. When you meet negativity, see the other person expressing not as a threat, but someone in fear or needing love. Change your thoughts to love. I used to giggle to myself when I'd say, wonder what they're going to do when they find out who I am. What's it going to be like when they find out what I have to offer? So, change your thinking. When you meet negativity, see the other person expressing not as a threat, but someone in fear or needing love. Change your thoughts to love. You be the love. You don't have to knuckle down. Continue to walk. I didn't change anything about who I was. Become a love ambassador. I continue to flash that smile. I'm not in fear. I had nothing to hide. A love ambassador gives love for no reason. It is just their nature. Their mission is simply to be love and light up the world. I'm sure there are lots of love ambassadors in this community, but my assignment for each of you this week is to practice showing love for no reason. Simply express your God self. Let your God light shine. A key to loving relationships is basing your love in spirit. A spiritual-based love, you see yourself as divine and recognize that loving each other is a way to connect with the divine. Have you ever had a relationship that went sour? Change your thoughts of disappointment into empathy for the other person's pain or suffering. Change anger and resentment to forgiveness and send positive thoughts. Mentally send a message of love. When we approach relationships with what we can give rather than what we can get, the chemistry changes and we change. When we start looking at how we can extend love to any issues or problems in our lives change, and we create a world of love. I'd like to share with you a reading from Emmett Fox. He said, "There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door, no wall that enough love will not throw down, no wrong that enough love will not set right. It makes no difference how deeply seated the trouble may be, how helpless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only we will love enough, we will be the happiest, most powerful beings in the world. This morning, I am suggesting that we consider seeing all our issues in our lives through the lens of love. You have a problem that's bugging you, a friend, a relationship that's irritating you. Try the spiritual practice of meditating love until you can see, feel, and affirm the solution to the issue through love. Let God handle it. It's amazing what Spirit will say to you in the quiet. It's amazing what realizations will come to you when you bring love to a situation. Quantum physics said that once we connect with another entity in the quantity field, the nature of that entity changes. That relationship will change. First, let us remember that God is love. Each one of us is that love in expression. Knowing that what we think about grows, let us use our thoughts to solve the problem in mind. Remembering that our minds direct the law. They form a mold for Spirit to fill, and Spirit always says yes. Resolve today to solve issues in our personal lives through love. Let us bring love and affirmative prayer to any and all issues. I invite you to feel love and be love. I submit that you can solve the answer to every question and find the solution to any problem, and you will be living love. Thank you.